Everybody, it's me, GhostCritic. It's back, it's Monday, it's question of the week. For those of you who have just come across my channel and this is the first video you've seen of mine, every Monday I pose a comic book related question to you lot out there, and you all get to answer and respond in the comment section below. I also take questions. You can pose them to me and I will answer them the following week. So this week I thought we'd look at comic book relationships, in particular your favourite comic book couples. Yes, who are the two that either have entertained you the most because their relationship is such a car crash tragedy? It could be that you think, oh, they are just so well suited, or just like so well realised. It can come from anywhere within the comic book community. These could be straight couples, they could be gay couples, they could be animal couples. I'm sure there's some animal couples out there in the comic book universe. But yes, who is your favourite comic book couple and why? So on to the questions that were posed to me last week. 3 people were very kind enough to leave me some questions to ask this week. And we'll begin with a very simple question from Joshua Hayes. Quite an obvious one for him, and I thought he'd have asked me this a lot sooner. But who is my favourite Batman villain? Now, obviously, you think Batman, you think Joker, and I'm going to kind of cheat, well not cheat, but he's just like the all-time best Batman villain there is. He's had all the big great stories. You know, if you ask someone to name a Batman comic book story, Joker is going to be in there somewhere, either as like the main character, the main kind of nemesis that's pushing forward the story, or he's going to be somewhere in the background, or he's going to be part of some sort of evil team to bring down our Dark Knight hero. But saying that, there are a couple of other characters that I do really like. One of them is Poison Ivy. I've always kind of liked her character, her kind of eco, almost terrorism kind of stance as a villain, and also the Scarecrow, Crane. What's his first name? Damn it. You know who I mean though. Yeah, I've liked a lot of the storylines he's in, but I think that's more because of my kind of horror film lean, because, you know, he deals in fear. You obviously get all the kind of creepy scarecrow imagery, etc. So obviously my all-time favourite would have to be the Joker. He's been in some of the best Batman stories throughout his career. But, you know, as a sideline, Poison Ivy and the Scarecrow. Okay, Jess S asked me, which X-Men story and which specific Spider-Man story would you like to see make it to the big screen and why? Let's start with the X-Men. It'd be quite interesting to see them do the Legacy Virus storyline. Whether that's a bit early for them to do at the moment, because while there is quite a lot of the mutant characters in the current X-Men movie franchise, I don't think there's enough of them to be that big, for the Legacy Virus to be that big of a threat as it was in the comics. Just for shits and giggles, I'd love them to try and attempt the Age of Apocalypse storyline. That would be phenomenal. I can see a trilogy out of that, very much so. That would be really exciting, and it would give the movie companies a chance to play around with the kind of what we know as the characters and the twist that they got within the Age of Apocalypse. So there's your X-Men stories. Now, Spider-Man. Again, just to hack people off. Hack off all the fanboys, because I love to wind them up. I'd love them to do Brand New Day. That would just be such a head flip for a lot. Not just like the fanboys, but also just like the general public, who are the majority that go and see these films. And they'd be like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? So yes, just for the crack. But let's be serious. Probably a really good one that would have like a darker tone to it would be Kraven, The Last Hunt. That would be a very cool storyline for them to adapt to the movie. It's kind of got that dark Batman kind of feel to it. It's kind of heavy and deep and could attract a more adult orientated audience who wouldn't necessarily be bothered with a kind of comic book film. So that could be quite fun. I also, what was I thinking? Going back to the X-Men storylines, I would actually, I don't know if they can do this, but do an X-Men Avengers crossover movie and do the No More Mutants storyline. That could be quite fun to do, and we all know how much movie franchise loves to do crossovers. Aliens versus Predators, anybody? So yeah, those are a few I've thrown out to you as some storylines. Finally, Parker Rizzo asked, and I hope I've understood this question correctly. He wrote, Alan Moore is one of the best, if not the best writer in comics. Which storyline that was popular in the comic book world did you not like, and what is your favourite? Now, I'm presuming he means of Alan Moore's work. And I have to say, hold my hands up high, I haven't actually read a lot of Alan Moore's work. Read all the obvious ones, Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Saga of the Swamp Thing, but not a great deal else, to be honest. A few bits and bobs here and there for his work that he did on the UK comic 2000 AD, when he was doing kind of like the short stories. And then he did some on Halo Jones, and kind of like all his British stuff, Captain Britain, he did for Marvel UK. But, so, it's not that I don't like this work, I think it's just something that I've not had a lot of, I haven't touched on a lot. I would very much like to get into, and we will forget all about the terrible movie, but I would actually like to read a lot more of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I hear that's a great series. For anybody who wants to forget about that awful movie, I would direct you to the new American TV show Penny Dreadful, which is what The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen should have been like. It's a great TV series that's only just recently started. Go check that out. But as for what's my favourite Alan Moore work, now I know this may come quite shocking to some people, but it's not The Watchmen. While it's pretty much the comic that made Alan Moore's name and has made him such a distinctive figure in the comic book world now, I much prefer V for Vendetta. It's probably because it's based in in the UK. It's in London. It's set around the 80s, which is kind of my, I guess, my teenage informative years. I understand the kind of political undertones, the Thatcherite politics that Alan Moore was putting into this, and I like the mix of kind of George Orwell's 1984 Big Brother type of overreaching kind of, he's there watching you, listening to you all the time. So V for Vendetta is actually my favourite at the moment piece of work from Alan Moore. So yeah, those are the questions that were asked today, and I've answered them. So if you want me to answer one of your comic book related questions, put it also in the comment section below along with your answer for my question to you this week, and I'll answer it in next week's video on next Monday. So make sure you answer my question, ask a question, and if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on next week's video, along with my pull list video on Wednesday and my review of the comics I picked up this week on Friday. So have a great week. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.